Time for Pop Pop Plays.
Welcome back to Pop Pop Plays. This is Pop Pop Plays Total War 3, Total War Warhammer 3. This is the Thrones of Decay expansion. This is the Malakai campaign we're looking at. This is episode 2 for the Malakai campaign, but will also be the wrap-up. This is actually considerably later in the campaign than I had planned on getting back to doing an episode for. So it's mostly just going to be a wrap-up of my thoughts on how this campaign has played out. As you can see, I'm at turn 124. If we zoom out, I like to do the diplomatic status. You can see we've got most of the Northman Peninsula. We have Boris having most of the area north of that. Big chunk of the mountains to the east of the Empire. Empire is pretty much in control. We have kept control of Brass Keep after we came down here and helped finish off the Nurgle guy. Sorry, forgetting at the moment. Laurelland Forest is still in control of the elves, although for some reason they're starting to turn angry at me.
Lady of the Azrael, you dare trample the earth of Athel
Gotten
Lauren?
more and more unfriendly, so they may not be sticking around too much longer. We don't have this. This still belongs to goblins, greenskins. These guys, but I'm pushing on them. Is that Belgar? What his name is? Yeah, Belgar is still in control of some of this area, and I'm not even sure what else, but he's got quite a few areas. As a confederation, we've got most of the southern mountains along here. That's now ours. Skaven had been pushed out of here, and way early we took Hell Pit and finished off those Skaven, so that was one of the legendary grudges we finished off. We finished off the other one, which was taking... What's that one? The Umge of Chaos and taking the Norsemen's area, which unfortunately, I don't know if I want to get to that quite yet. We're fighting against, well, honestly, we're pushed out in kind of all different directions. It looks like the elves got smashed and maybe gone. We pushed a little bit into that, kind of tracking down chaos enemies, and that's been a big part of my campaign is chaos. We're finishing up pushing these guys a little bit further west, so they're not in my face. We did help finishing off Flawed. Who else? Like I said, we got spacing on who that is, but the Nurgle guy there. I haven't done anything down here, but I plan on attacking Scarbrand and finishing him off. He's only got 4 territories anyways, and then that kind of fills that up, and that gives me that pretty well painted. I consolidated, and they must have been at war with where he's at now. Karos, because he's got some spots in some weird locations. This is Kairos's, this is Kairos, and he's up here too. So some fighting. We haven't really gotten. This is as far east as we've gone, so I don't even know what could be waiting for me over here. There's friendliness over there, and then I've not gone west at all to any of this. So that's where I'm sitting. Through the Legendary Lord page in the Great Book of Grudges, I've consolidated 4 of these guys. Grombrindle first, and then Ungrim, I believe, second. They were... No, it was Thorgrim. Grombrindle and Thorgrim, I'm pretty sure. They were both out. They had lost their locations, so basically I just got them as Legendary Lords. These guys still had locations. I got what little they still had left. Belgar says 21 settlements, so he'll be quite a bit. But I need to get 56,000. So 3 more thousand. That won't take too much longer, and then I'll confederate him right away. One thing I will say about that is I don't know a lot of in a lot of other factions, when I confederate, it often puts me bad into the negatives, and I have to get rid of a bunch of their armies that they might have. I didn't have to do that much with the dwarves. They had pretty solid infrastructure that pretty well took care of what armies they had. So I only had to do a little bit of frantic army disintegration in order to take control. I will say some of their army setups weren't great. I wouldn't take 3 Iron Drakes for pretty much anything. Like, this army is not been tweaked much since they got it, because it wasn't that long ago. This is not what I would want. That's a weird army setup. Same thing for Thoric's actual army, and I've done a little bit of tweaking with this. Like, I picked up allies and stuff. His is a little better now, but he's got a ton of hammerers, so the Iron Drakes. Iron Drakes have not been impressive this go round, in my opinion. He's still got a miner in here, but I don't have now I have a little bit, but I have not had a good chance to tweak these in a way that I would want them to be tweaked. Same thing with these armies that he had in the desert. I've not tweaked them almost at all. Here's a bunch more Iron Drakes, some more Trollhammer torpedoes, and regular Iron Drakes. It's just expensive and unnecessary. The other army is... I forget if I tweaked this one out much or not, but this one's not so bad. So yeah, that'd be my only complaint. The Confederation, honestly, I think has worked real well. Real well done. Give me a second. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah, my final thought is that I really like the Confederation system in this for the Legendary Lords. It is, once again, a thing that the Dwarves got that I really wish we'd see some form of this for, if not every, then most other factions, because confederating is often a really hard practice for most other factions, to the point that I almost never do it unless there is some sort of mechanic that goes along with it. So I'd really love to see that, along with, and it's basically all I say, the Forge. I'd love to see some version of the Forge for everybody else as well, or almost everybody else. Magic items are great for heroes and lords, and it'd be really great to be able to get them on a more dependable rate than hopefully they drop in combat or for a quest reward or whatever. I'd love to see the Forge for everybody else too. Adventures, I think I talked about it in the first thing. The only one I've got left to do is the battle for Vampire Slayer. I've got a few individual stuff to pick up, but otherwise these are all done. Adventures are great. Most of them, the first couple cost something like 2,500, all the way up to, I think it was 4,500 for the Skaven scheme, and they almost all essentially, where is it? Almost all pay for themselves, or close to it. This one actually, I think, gives you 2 shots at it, along with Oath Gold, which is great. So yeah, you have to have the money up front, but then you'll get that money back. On top of, then you can hire the adventure units. It gives you 3 free units of that. That doesn't cost you anything to recruit. You can recruit them instantly. They do have upkeep, but that's it. And I've used up almost all of them, down to 1 organ gun and 3 flame cannons, because I don't generally like the flame cannons. So yeah, the adventure thing is fun. You can go around and you get to pick up stuff to get extra abilities. Some of them are just really strong. Emergency repairs for thunder barges is great, because it's already hard enough for the enemy to do much to them, and if they do get them down, then that'll put them right back up. One thing I have found is thunder barges tend to take quite a bit of damage in auto resolve. I don't like that, because when I'm fighting with them anyways, they're rarely taking almost anything. You just kind of got to look out for their ranged units, and that's about it. If they have flying units, then yeah, that's an issue, but usually I have gyrocopters along with me, and I'm more than happy to sacrifice a unit of gyrocopters to protect a thunder barge. But yeah, these adventures have been a lot of fun. Malakai himself. Talk a little bit about Malakai. Malakai's a great guy. His kind of horde mechanic is really useful, especially for this campaign. I still don't have, except for the ones that I've consolidated, much in the way of military buildings in my locations. They're almost all infrastructure because he builds everything, and then you're using global cooldowns then at that point, but it almost doesn't matter. And then he can just pop off armies essentially right here anyways. They just have a ways to go if they've got to move. Malakai himself is an interesting guy. He's okay in melee combat, but he's a guy with, he's a ranged guy is what he is. Honestly, most of my battles he's just stayed back with his bonuses for the artillery and stayed with the 3 cannons that I have for him. And in which case he's done really well, both in protecting them and giving them a bonus, which is fine, mainly because he comes with Godric and Felix, who are just monsters on the battlefield, especially when you've leveled them up. They are hard to take down, and they do a lot of damage. The only problem is they can't be everywhere at once. You get Ulrika, and I decided to keep her with these guys, kind of as a nod, I guess, to the stories. Ulrika, when she's leveled up, is an amazing addition for the dwarves, because she has some magic. Her range attacks are really good. Her melee is decent. I try not to get her stuck in melee. Her defense isn't as good as like these guys, Godric and Felix, but it's okay. But she can usually get out of combat pretty quick. So I picked up everything up to Pit of Shades. Have Pendulum, which I actually use quite a bit, and Enfeebling Foe, which I don't. I really wish that she got, I guess it's just not that thing, but the Lore of Death spell, one that's against a single entity. Sorry, I'm spacing on what it's called. You can comment below. Pit of Shades is really good when it hits right. It's a little on the expensive side, but Penumbral Pendulum is really good, just off the bat. She gets extra abilities, and then she gets regeneration. She gets the hunger, which is also handy so that if she does get in combat and takes some damage, if I can get her out for a little while, she's back to it. But mostly I use her as a sniper character, going after single entity monsters and then heroes or lords, and then dropping Pendulum or Pit of Shades on groups of enemies and just kind of moving her around. She's really good too, and she ends up being just a really great addition to this unit. Malakai I've mostly filled with Slayers of some sort. I kept 2 Thunderers. I got a couple of Gyrocopters, the one Brimstone Gun one from the beginning, which I don't like the Brimstone Gun. Regular Gyrocopters, which are fine. They're kind of a workhorse, which is great, but not as good as the Trollhammer Gun ones, which I then found out aren't normal. They're not. Those are not. Where's it at? The Grudge Settlers. Trollhammer Grudge Settlers are. They're not normal units that you can recruit. You can get one as a Regiment of Renown, and then it turns out they're in the Grudge Settler stuff, so you can't get more. And it's not too hard to get them, but I do really like the Trollhammers over the regular ones. I took a regular.
I'll try not to kill you.
Thunder Barge. So then I get the regular Thunder Barge, and then I get the Spirit of Grugni when it comes in after 2 minutes. I kept the original cannon and picked up 2 more cannons. And for his group, that's been enough. The cannons are so good at this point that I didn't really feel any need to swap them out. The one has the Rune of Seeking, and as a result, it cannot do Grape Shot. The other 2 can, and that still ends up being a really good mix. These guys are interesting. Honestly, I don't I don't like Slayers in... No, that's not quite right. Slayers are fine. They've always been fine in my opinion. They're really annoying to fight, and mostly not because they're so good, but because they can't run. They just don't. So they make in a normal army, I would take a couple maybe to kind of create a solid pocket of unit that just isn't going to break. You're going to have to kill them all the way down. Usually more defensively. Of course, this army, I'm kind of not doing that, although I am protecting the cannons quite a bit. A lot of times it's sending the 3 heroes out to do a lot of fighting and protecting locations with the Slayer Pirates, and then the Giant Slayers and Doomseekers kind of go where they need to go. Yeah, the Slayer Pirates basically I basically use them as cannon fodder. If they die, I just don't worry too much about it. They're decent, but they're not a great front line because they won't hold quite the way your regular dwarf warriors will, but they will stand until they're all dead. But the problem is they won't if they won't break and then come back, they'll just die. So they'll last a while because of that, but then once they're done, they're gone, and then I've got to recruit them again. So I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing. It's a weird army that's not quite how I normally play, but it's been interesting. Malakai's good. The other guys are great, in my opinion. He wouldn't be, except for this being kind of an interesting campaign, a lord that I would normally choose. I don't like the ranged lords all that much. They're a little annoying to play with. Ranged heroes I don't mind so much, but the lords I don't care for as much. Let's see, what else have we run across? Thorgrim just went down for me. I had a really nasty fight against Tamarkan, which I won, but barely. Regular lords, rune lords, these are the same as before. I don't think demon slayers are new. I'm not sure. They're fine. They're basically little Gotreks running around on the field. Dragon slayers, kind of the same thing. Thanes or Smiths, master engineers are all in there. Let's see, what else? I will say, actually, just jumping back real quick about the adventures, they all have a legendary battle at the end of it, and one, you need to do that to get the final reward for them anyways, and that's part of the victory conditions, but also some of them are kind of neat. It's fun to play specific battles sometimes compared to just the random stuff you get on the maps. And I've more or less enjoyed all of them. The only one I have a complaint isn't the word, critique maybe, although I didn't mind it. It was funny. Anger the Forest, for my setup anyways, you have to defeat a giant tree man as the I don't get to see it anymore. Is the only objective, and I expected there to be something more. He's casting a spell or something that's summoning in reinforcements, and the setup allowed me to place all 3 of my cannons in a spot where they could see him right from the beginning, and literally within, 2 minutes, I had gunned him all the way down with my cannons at long range, and our front lines never even encountered each other. So it was just a matter of just sitting there with the cannons and shooting him. I suspect maybe not quite what they had it intended with that. The other one, and this is more of a complaint, is Skaven Scheme. I'm going to go out right and say I did not like this battle. It's literally a timed event, and you, as far as I know, have no way to increase the amount of how quickly the time is passing in the event. So it's 500 some seconds, I think, is what it starts at. And you have to wait until it gets to 0, and through that you have what are essentially you have a small Skaven army at the beginning, which is easily overcome, and then you have 3 armies that are reinforcing, from 2 kind of from one side of the map and 1 from the other side of the map. And you find out fairly quick, at least I did, that every time you wipe out a unit, it just spawns that unit again. To the point that I fought, I don't know, it was probably a dozen hell pit abominations alone. I killed their leader 4 times, and every time he comes back on whatever the big vehicle is, I forget what that one's called. Unacceptable in my opinion. It essentially just ground my army down. It outright killed 4 of my units, and burned everything out pretty bad. The heroes ended up still doing really good. Malakai did fine. My cannons were at an odd spot, so they didn't get attacked. Everything was near death. I'd lost all 4 of my Slayer pirates by the time it ran down. Now, in retrospect, what I should have done was basically sat on Malakai in the center of the map with my whole army and let them come to me rather than go to them. But like, Slayers aren't a sit and wait kind of unit, really. They're kind of really more designed to go after the enemy. So it's a bad setup, in my opinion. I beat it, but that was annoying. What do we got left? The Age of Reckoning thing. This is now after the update, and in my opinion, it's working fine. I have probably half the time I've gotten a Nolan-Grom, and if I don't, I usually get at least a Trom. If I get a Nolan-Grom and have 2 in everything, or 2 in most things anyways, I usually let it sit for the extra 15 turns so I get the bonuses. And that's actually what I'm sitting on now, is the second half of a Nolan-Grom. So I still got 12 turns. Which should have... Is it listed up here somewhere? I don't see it. Should be 50% for Grudge Settler units and the growth, but I'm not sure where I can see that at. Let's see. That's not even my thing. Growth. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's no longer in effect. 212 for that.
Brumney's will.
Come on, somebody's got to have an example that I can check off real quick. Okay, that should do 187, 187. Interesting. Normal 175. Now I'm wondering. 87, 161. I'm wondering if I don't get it for the second half. I'll have to reconsider that. Maybe you don't get the bonuses through the second half of of making it wait. Then what would be the point of that? Okay. Well, your mileage may vary then. Be warned. But for the most part, I feel like this is working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. His campaign is weird and hard, and I kind of don't like it. This area is terrible. I'm now the protection for Kislev, which is unfair. This is great if you can take all of it, but there's so many different factions here, and so many factions up here are just going to hate you. So that, and I know other people have mentioned this, it's just kind of whack-a-mole. These guys will constantly declare war on you, then everything to your right will constantly declare war on you. The guys up from here, if they're beating Kislev, will declare war on you, and of course these guys will declare war on you. So you're doing a whole lot of just kind of fighting just to stay alive right at the beginning. I thought it'd be a good idea to get... where's he at? Boris, a good foothold, because he was almost gone by the time I could kind of push up here to help him out. If he could get a good foothold, then I figured he'd take care of what's up here, and nope. I've taken almost all of these territories for him. He's lost almost every battle he's been in. I know, or I think there's a mechanic in the game now that randomizes, I'm not sure what you would call it, but effectiveness of the various factions, so that not every game you play is going to be the same. Usually Grimgor is going to win almost no matter what because he's so strong, but some factions that normally lose sometimes will get a stronger roll and they'll bust out. And Boris in this campaign must have just gotten the lowest he could get. The only reason he's still alive is because I've killed all his enemies. I have spent the entire campaign, after kind of settling a little bit at the beginning, with Malakai in the north fighting. And I can't take these. These are all red. This is all terrible for me, so there's no point in holding on to this territory. So I've been giving it to Boris over and over again, and he's regularly just had the crappiest armies that constantly lose. Look at this. It is just Kids of Light Warriors. Like, these guys are great. He's got 1 Light War Sleds, a Frostworm, one of my Copters. There's an Armored Kossar in there, and then a Longbeard. His other army is this. This isn't too bad. If it was a full army, this would be kind of neat. Just terrible. He's just terrible. I don't know what to say. Don't do that is my suggestion next time. Maybe don't stick around in this area. Maybe just leave. I don't know. It's annoying. It's really annoying. Malakai hasn't gone on an adventure. He's only done stuff in the north. His agents have done stuff. They've gone out and fought the out here. You do a fight against the dark dwarves, the chaos dwarves, and some elf stuff up here, and there's some vampire stuff I got to take care of down here. He'll never see any of that. He's fighting up there. He's great for it, mainly because his airship camp stance is as fast as his normal stance. He's never taking any attrition up here, unless you make a mistake. So that's really handy. Like, he does a really good job of it, but that's not what this campaign should be. It's really annoying. Another thing that I'm running into an issue with is I think they got really excited about this underway network thing. I suspect you'll never see this unless you are super pushing to get this one done. It's a lot of territory you've got to take, and then isn't this one essentially your allies can take areas that are controlled by enemies, and they'll never give up those locations. So if I want Kazak Rasarik, I'll have to kill her. I don't want to do that. I forget which one it is. And you need to take the whole province. So I can't take this province. She's got that. I've got to declare war. Theoretically, I can maybe trade if I've got enough money or something to get Karak Rasarik back. What is she charging me for it right now? Negative 18. So I could threaten her for it. That's not great. War coordination is good, but not war coordination. Declaring war with her is good. But she's got nobody left. I've killed all her enemies, so I'm the only one with enemies left. Again, I can offer payment. Right now I don't have basically anything, but that doesn't lower it by it's going to take tens of thousands if I'm going to be able to do it, and I'm not at that point in the campaign yet. So yeah, there's another one where maybe your mileage, maybe you'll do better than me. I'm not sure, but I don't expect to see the use of that here in this campaign. The one over here, I'm not there yet. I've just slowly been pushing in that direction now. So yeah, it's been a fun campaign overall. But yeah, here's another one. Why are you taking the Longship Graveyard, guys? I need that. You don't. I'm sure it's terrible for you, but nothing to do about it. It's been a fun campaign. I'm not sure I'd play his a second time, or at least not for a while. He won't be even my favorite of the dwarves. The adventure thing is neat, and the bonuses you get are kind of cool, but kind of limited. I'd rather do who is it? Thoric, I believe, the one with the runes. I really like him, and I like his campaign where he's tracking down the stuff, and he gets special magical items, and you get to have a dinosaur. That interests me more than his. And like I said, the territory that you start in is just trash. I mean, it's just terrible. I should not have to be the protection for Kislev. I basically literally came and saved all these people. Empire was not unified at that point, but and it would be unfair to say that they were hanging on by a thread, but Vlad was definitely starting to roll them. And Kislev was down to her last 2 locations until I gave her essentially this territory back. And then she snagged that out from underneath me. Trying to think of, is there anything else in there? The Legendary Grudges, like I said, it just, in some sense, they're kind of funny and cute. Take control of the Final War of Vengeance, take control of the Elf thing is funny. I didn't kill any of these guys. They've been killed, so I might, if I continue the campaign, I might actually try and take these locations. Gets you a decent landmark building. These guys are, all I gotta do is kill Scarbrand and then make a Hall of Ancestors, then I've got that one, but that doesn't get you, I mean, that's handy, but like, it's not amazing. Call of the Miners is great. It says summon unit degrades over time, and as far as I can tell, they don't. So it gets you 2 extra minor units if it's in your territory, plus a big chunk of grudges, which is good. Fallen Ones, I don't understand why. I think I mentioned this before. Why is Grimgore's Ardboys included in this? That doesn't make any sense lore-wise. But then you get the Underway Network over there, and an Ancestor Relic, whatever that is. So that's great. I just got to get Grimgore. These guys, I helped destroy a couple of these guys, but mostly fell off themselves. These guys have been staunch allies for me, so probably won't do any of that. I did this all on my own, essentially. But it's a cooldown for an ability that I'll never see. Elgi Oathbreaker. If I really want to go after these guys, you get a unique Dwarf Lord. Don't even know what that means. Carrick Eight Peaks. This I could maybe do. Just got to get those guys. +2 Grudge Civil Unit capacity per army is pretty nice. Shame of the Silver Pinnacle. I have it. I just need to do the Sealed Tombs thing. I forgot about it. All it does is unlock a better building there, and give me a big grudge boost, so that is kind of handy. I like it. Of the 3 paid DLC lords, he is probably my least favorite. I think that's fair to say. I really liked Elspeth's campaign. I look forward to playing that again soon. As annoying as he was, Tamerkane's campaign is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing that. That worked out real well for me. And Malakai's is fine. It just of the 2, it's my least favorite. And for a few different reasons, but I do like the change that they've done to the dwarves. I am looking forward to doing Thoric's campaign. Running that with the new stuff is going to be a lot of fun, I think, and then consolidating some of these guys, having the big bonuses to cannons and artillery as his campaign, and not having access to that is going to be a little annoying. But like I said, he gets special stuff that I really enjoy. So yeah, thank you for joining me. If you like this, please hit like, subscribe, comment. It's always great. Hit that notification bell, and you'll see when our other videos come up. Hopefully you've been enjoying these pop-up plays, little videos that I've been doing. We'll be doing some other games soon. I'm going to do some Hitman, the campaign in that, some other stuff. So keep on the lookout. Have a good one.